I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome back to the channel, child. Oh my God, who knew? Who knew that the leader of the terror squad was an actual terror? Oh my goodness. Come on in, you guys. I know people were dropping this tea in the chat, but I am just now seeing it, so I'm going to talk about it. Fat Joe, child, is a whole mess. A whole mess. Come on in, hit the like button on your way in, share the video. We are talking about Fat Joe, who has been accused. First off, let me just say, move over, Tyler Perry. Oh my goodness, child. The 2 in 1 week, 2 back to back. But Fat Joe is being accused of all kinds of heinous things. Move over P. Diddy, move over R. Kelly, move over. Okay, lean back and move over. Fat Joe is in the news being accused of all kinds of horrors, okay? Horrors. Oh my goodness. Anyway, come in, y'all. We are talking about Fat Joe. I'm going to give y'all this tea real quick. The leader of the terror squad. Y'all remember that? Ashanti, Ja Rule. Who else was a part of it? Remy Ma. Exactly. Exactly. Who else? Who else? Prospect, Cuban Leak, Big Pun, DJ Khaled, another one. So listen, turns out, now this was something that was actually put out there back in April by the same guy. His name is Terrence Dixon. They call him TA. He's a hype man. Do y'all remember him? Was he on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? For some reason, I feel like he was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. He had came on as a boyfriend one season. And I always thought he was a little goofy. What's up, Stone Mountain? I see you. But now he is out here filing lawsuits. He had initially took this to court, or I won't say took it to court. This is what he did back in April, just so y'all can catch up if you haven't heard this story before. So in April, or was it April or was it Fat Joe? Because he said some things. Please don't say it. Yes, yes, not just say it. He's being accused of SA with children, and the person, Terrence, is also accusing Fat Joe of taking it from him. Over 4,000 times he's saying he had encounters with Fat Joe. Did you hear me? Over 4,000 times. So I believe back in April, Terrence went on social media. Terrence is the guy that you see in the back. He went on social media and he accused Fat Joe of being with a 16-year-old and crossing state lines in order to be with this child, right? So he had, people just assumed This is not even the worst of it yet. Hold on. People heard it, but Fat Joe killed it like immediately. Like he came on and he was like, I'm suing him. And Fat Joe actually sued Terrence after that. He threatened him. He said that the whole thing was fabricated. It was a shakedown. He was just looking for money. Do y'all remember that? That was just a couple of months ago. That happened in April. Okay. Fat Joe did, in fact. So when this happened the first time, Terrence demanded that Fat Joe pay him $20 million. He had sent him a letter. First, he said it on social media publicly, and then Terrence sent Fat Joe a letter. Okay. The lean back Fat Joe sent him a letter with a bunch of allegations in it, saying that he was a ghostwriter, that Fat Joe didn't pay him. And then it got even deeper because he said he was involved with minors, stuff like that, right? In response to that accusation, Fat Joe went on down to the federal court and filed a defamation and extortion lawsuit against Dixon. This all happened back in April. Fat Joe filed first a defamation and extortion lawsuit. At the time, Terrence just said it. Terrence was like, look, just give me my money because if you don't, I'm going to talk. But that's where that figure came from. Now, following the blowout with Tyler Perry, it looks like Terrence said, F that. If Derek is willing to tell his story, I'm going to tell my story. Okay? And people think that Fat Joe is a solid guy. I've never heard any of this stuff prior to Terrence coming out with it. So, yes. So y'all, that is that's how it started. So this has been ongoing since April, but then it died down after Fat Joe filed his lawsuit. Come on, Ian. I see you, Marcella. Hold on. Fat Joe didn't have 20 million. Well, are you saying that Fat Joe, look, Fat Joe sued Terrence after that, saying, listen, you about to give me my 20 million. But yes, that's how it started. So back in April, this allegation had already came out, but then it just disappeared. I don't know. Maybe people were just still caught up with the P. Diddy stuff. I'm not sure, but somebody's calling in favors. And I say this every time when politics get real, real hot, in order for them to take our mind off the shit that's going on in the government, all kinds of stories come out, and it's usually the X stories, okay? They always do this, it seems like. But yesterday, everybody was talking about Tyler Perry. Today, Terrence has decided to march his ass down to the courthouse and file paperwork of his own against his former employer, Fat Joe. Okay, so Terrence, also known as T.A. Dixon, has filed an explosive lawsuit in a federal court against the rapper on Thursday. That's today, okay? Filed it today. So just so you guys are aware, Dixon is alleging that his former boss, whose real name is Joseph Antonio Cartagena, if I'm saying that properly, if I'm not, my apologies. He said that he coerced him, exploited him. He's accusing him of financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion. Dixon adds that the hip-hop star behind such chart toppers as What's Love got rich and famous while he and his associates deliberately suppressed, silenced, and erased Dixon's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions. Listen, Marcella, you're from New York. What do you know? Have you heard this before, girl? Anything about Joseph? Anything? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Have you heard about Joseph before? So he is demanding 20 million from Fat Joe in damages. Now that's not all. It gets actually worse than this, okay? In the complaint that was filed in a U.S. District Court in New York, there are so many disturbing claims about Fat Joe and sexual relations with women and minors that the actual court case actually contains a trigger warning. I can't wait for this shit to drop. It's 157 pages. The one that was brought against Tyler Perry is only 46 pages, okay? But Dixon is saying for the 16 years that he served or worked for Fat Joe as a hype man, that he's seen a lot of nasty shit, okay? Nasty upon nasty upon nasty. He is also saying, also you should know this, that Dixon is being represented by Tyrone Blackburn. Have you heard that name before? Tyrone Blackburn? He is also the lead counsel in a case against Diddy, okay? I forgot the guy's name, but he had brought all those charges against Diddy, and he had included all of the other celebrities, including, he had put in there, who did he say was having gay sex? Who is that guy? Who was married to, you thought that he was married for 30 years. What does marriage has to do with this, child? He is married. He's married. He has children. He has a son that's special needs that he talks about all the time. He has a lot going on. He has a lot going on. So this guy is saying that he was his hype man, that he was on the road with him for 16 years, that he basically knows all the ins and outs about Fat Joe, and he is putting his information out there. But Tyrone Blackburn is a lawyer in New York. I remember he was reprimanded not too long ago, maybe toward the end of 2024. And I think the judge said that he was going to snatch his license if he continued to bring work into, or any type of paperwork. He said, you're not checking these filings. And so he said he was going to snatch his license, have him report it. I think that was probably the last I had heard about him. Who called themselves the Rat Squad? Mimi Faust's ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, baby daddy. Who is that? Anyway, he said that Fat Joe forced him into humiliating situations, including, this is what he's saying Fat Joe did to him, including X acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused to comply. So if he didn't do what he told him to do, actually, is what he's saying, that he would threaten to leave him in certain countries, okay, in foreign countries. And he said that he did this over 4,000 times. How the hell do you do this? And he said that he had to do it in order to maintain his standing with the enterprise known as the Terror Squad. Okay, Stevie J, thank you. So y'all remember when Diddy had met up with Stevie J in Miami? It was Stevie J and maybe two other people. Okay, well, when Diddy met up with Stevie J, it was after Tyrone Blackburn had filed with the court another lawsuit, and it accused Stevie J and some other people of doing things. And there was this this gay adult film performer. The guy was saying that was Stevie J, and then the performer came out and said, "That's me. Like, that's not Stevie J." Y'all remember that? Anyway, he had gotten attacked at when he went to court. The judge was like, you can't just file shit like this. You got to, research this stuff and make sure it's accurate. And he told him that he was going to report his license if he continued to do that. So that's who Tyrone Blackburn is, just in case you didn't know. But yes, Stevie J is who I was referring to. You're surprised he didn't get pregnant? Me too. I'm saying he's lucky he didn't. He must have a really good birth control. I agree. That is hilarious. Anyway, Dixon, Terrence Dixon, also claims to have personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in relations with children, okay, who were between the ages of 15 and 16. And then he actually lists the names of 3 Dominican girls who live in New York. And he said that he would do this. The girls would do it in exchange for cash, clothing, payments on their cell phones. This is all alleged, by the way. I should say all opinions are alleged. Chad, where's my banner? Do I have it up? Y'all know all opinions are alleged. Anyway, it goes on to say that he would ask for OS with the mouth and other sexual acts. The minors are referred to as Minor Doe 1, 2, and 3. Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female and not a United States citizen. And he is alleging that he had relations with her when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Then he said that Fat Joe flew Minor Doe number 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida. So these are the same allegations as we see with Diddy, saying that you are trafficking across state lines, this time out of the country. So he's putting this in there. New York City and Florida on multiple occasions due to Minor Doe 2's body being adolescent and not fully formed. Defendant paid for her to get plastic surgery, a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 2 eventually left and is now married to a professional athlete, the complainant says. So the guy's name is Dixon, Terrence Dixon, and they call him TA. He was a hype man for Fat Joe for 16 years. And this man is saying not only has he witnessed him do this stuff with others, but he's saying that he has been a victim himself and that Fat Joe would basically threaten him and force him to engage in acts with him well over 4,000 times. 20 milli is the magic number. According to TA, the guy that you see with the mask on, the defendant was in love with Minor Doe number 3, even contemplated leaving his wife for Minor Doe number 3. He paid all of her bills, took her overseas on his tours, brought her to Florida, and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife. The lawsuit states in a recorded conversation, oh wow, the lawsuit states that in a recorded conversation, Minor Doe number 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to the plaintiff how inappropriate it was for Fat Joe, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning all over children. So he is claiming that he has a recorded conversation with 2 girls, the one that Fat Joe was going to leave his wife for and her cousin, both at the time 15 years old, is what the plaintiff is alleging. Hold on. Susie F. said 4,000 times and now coming to report. These people must be really in handcuffs, locked away. No tongue before now. I just want to know what causes their silence for such long periods of time. So sometimes it can be a lot of things, but Psychologically, once this kind of stuff starts, they say that that people can start having feelings for the person and even think that their job is to protect them. So it's kind of like a Stockholm syndrome, but there's a lot of stuff that you can read about this, how these kind of things start. And very much, even though you're an adult, and I say this all the time, people, we like to think that we're in control of everything. We know, but it's really easy to get yourself locked in to bullshit sometimes. Especially if you're not talking to anybody about it, you're keeping it to yourself. It can be that you're embarrassed or you're ashamed. There's a lot of reasons why people continue to do stuff like this, and they may not find the strength to say it for themselves, but when they see somebody else talk about it, they, it gives them what they need to do it. So 99% of the men in the industry is sick. Well, there's a lot of women that is being called out right now too. Teachers, take a look at how many teachers, female teachers, are being reported right now, even getting pregnant by some of their students. Hold on. The suit additionally names Jay-Z's Rock Nation, claiming that the company, which represents Fat Joe, knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship, um, authorship rights and royalties. Okay, so he's just saying in the professional. I thought he was trying to say they knew about the kid part. So I did not know that Fat Joe worked under Jay-Z, but he's saying that he contributed to a lot of Fat Joe's success and that Jay-Z's company was aware of it, but never gave him the correct rights for certain music. That's a heavy weight to carry for sure. 1000%. Didn't remember that boy who had gotten his teacher pregnant? This was many years ago. And the teacher went to prison. She got pregnant. She has the baby. The baby goes to the child's family. The teacher goes to prison. And when she came back out, she went directly to that boy's house and got pregnant again. Y'all remember that? And she had to go through that whole process all over. Just go outside and touch the grass. This is what going outside and touch grass is all about. Seriously, sometimes when you stay locked in certain spaces, you think that's the real world. Get your ass outside, breathe air, touch grass, kick a rock or two. Because if you stay in these places, they'll have you thinking this is normal. This is what this whole P. Diddy case is about. The women, all the people that were around him, they're saying that at some point, they just thought this was just shit you did. This is something you just do, okay? And if you're not, a part of a different world, a real world, you'll start thinking that shit. Mary Kay. Thank you. That is her name, Mary Kay. I remember that. Yep. She got pregnant again. Yep. Sure did. And I remember the second time when she got out of jail, I was sitting there with my mouth open like, what the heck? Who does this? She was waiting on that little boy the whole time. Couldn't wait to get out of jail. Anyway, go outside. I'm not lying. Go outside. Go outside. Find somebody to talk to, a neighbor, something. Because this shit ain't real. Okay? Vilified Falolu and Mary Kay. She's dead now. Oh, wow. I didn't know she passed away. But yes, this is how this starts. So it can, it traps your mind. Anyway, according to the lawsuits, the defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes. So he's putting it all out there. He's not leaving anything off the table. If you don't get him for this, get him for that, child. He didn't call the IRS. He's accusing Jay-Z's companies of helping out with this shit. So he wants everybody to fall. But he said that they engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes and in an effort to conceal their extensive wage theft. That's a prison sentence. Okay. artificially inflate Dixon's tax liabilities, expose him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscure the exploited labor. So he's basically accusing them. Hey, Lady D Keys, welcome to the chat, child. Thank you. Y'all say hello to Lady D. She's volunteering her time in the chat as a moderator. He's basically saying that not only was he actually abused, he's saying that they also financially abused him. So he said there was no way out for him. This is what he's alleging. There was no way out for me. I would try to do my job, and then the companies would actually put me in a position where now I'm being audited. They're saying that I make more or that I have more money than I actually do. They were stealing my wages. They wouldn't give me the proper credit for music that I was making. So he's across the board saying, in order for me to eat, I had to stay here and do what I was doing. I had no choice. I had no choice. He was being physically threatened. He's saying it all, okay? He's leaving no stone unturned. Now, the article I'm reading is saying that this move comes after Fat Joe sued Dixon in April, which is what I just shared with y'all at the beginning of this live. Fat Joe sued him in April after he sent Fat Joe a demand letter saying, if you do not meet my demands, I will come out and tell everything. And after Fat Joe received it, he said, I will not be exploited. He did exactly what Bill Cosby said when that girl said, I'm his daughter, which that was his daughter. But she said, I won't tell anybody that I'm your daughter if you pay me. He said, I won't be exploited. I don't give a damn if you my daughter. Daughter schmatter. I don't claim you. So there. So he said that this move comes after Fat Joe sued Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming that the Bronx-born rapper, who enjoys high level of political connections, he does have a lot of political connections. That's not a lie. He actually said that he flew the 16-year-old girl across state lines for the relations, okay, for the intimate part. He said that suit also named Dixon's lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, claiming that the two tried to shake him down for a settlement. Fat Joe said, he said, this is the right way to fight, Joe. Through the system. You can't fight him any other way. This is actually what Dixon told Variety in an exclusive interview. He said that Fat Joe thinks that he's God. He thinks he's untouchable. He's not. Well, at least 4,000 times he wasn't. Okay? But you got to have something, okay? Well, Fat Joe will have his turn in court now to prove his case. Facts. He's accusing him of everything. He is basically, this is what the government did with the mob. Once you come in with the tax stuff, you get taken, right? When the government couldn't get the mob, they had to go through the taxes in order to put them in jail. So he's saying, y'all can believe what you want to believe at this point, but I'm putting everything on the table, including Jay-Z's companies. It was all deliberate and everybody was in on it. He should have just paid the daughter. Diddy Tyler Perry. Now Fat Greasy Joe. Look, you be coming through with the jokes. That is hilarious. That girl was not Bill Cosby's daughter. It wasn't? This whole time I thought that was Bill Cosby's daughter. Oh, wow. Either way, she went to prison, so I guess not. Hold on. Now I got to ask Siri if that was Bill Cosby's daughter, because I thought it was. I had to find out if he had an illegitimate daughter. Let's see. Who's next? Oprah. God, please don't let Oprah be next, child. I can't take it. Okay, so Cosby did admit to paying around $100,000 over 20 years to Jackson's mother and providing support for Jackson, even tuition, but he denied paternity. So he paid child support, he just wouldn't claim her. So are you sure that it wasn't her daughter? Because according to this, it said no court action or paternity was initiated because he said he didn't give a damn at that point. He just wanted her to go to jail. She was convicted, but he did pay the mama over $100,000 over 20 years. So just an FYI, according to Siri, child, that's what she told me. Oprah and nope. We're not putting that out in the atmosphere, child. Woosah. Nope. Taking it back. It's okay to be boring or working 9 to 5, or it's okay to just go to damn sleep. Why do you feel like you have to answer every one of your little nasty ass, urges? It's okay to be like, bitch, go to sleep. What is going on? This isn't the year of resolution, baby. This is the start. This is the start of revelation. This is a 23-year phase. Blame it on Pluto, baby, because Pluto showed up and said, I'm gonna be here for 23 years. I'm gonna show up and show out. Okay. But listen, I don't need to hear anything about Oprah anymore. I hope I'm gonna send some good fee-fees out to her. Let's see. I said that this morning when I was reading about Tyler. Child. Anyway, that's what's going on. Again, I'm going to urge people so that they don't get themselves into this situation. Hold on, let me finish reading. Dixon's suit against Fat Joe goes much further than his social media post and states that he himself endured a wide spectrum of sexual coercion and psychological control, forced exhibitionism, and surveillance based on humiliation, including being compelled to perform X acts under observation and being filmed. So again, all this to shame him and to keep him under, to keep him from talking. Because if you're filming him, you're threatening him all the time. The goal is at this point, you're just a little sex slave at that point. He said that he would film him and he would also have others be in the room. So others were present and they would direct him to do certain things. It was all designed to control the plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure his silence. It also adds that these X-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture of dominance and humiliation enforced by the defendant's associates, such as someone named Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. Joe is represented by celebrity criminal attorney Joe, whatever the last name is, I can't pronounce it. But he said that the attorney that represents Dixon also represented A$AP Rocky and Donald Trump in high-profile cases. So just so you know, he doesn't have a little, rinky-dink lawyer. It's the lawyer that represented A$AP Rocky and also Donald Trump. There's more, y'all. Hold on. In Thursday's complaint, Dixon claims that the activity took place on Market America's corporate yacht and its mansion's properties, where Fat Joe orchestrated repeated um, we'll call them OGs. Okay, y'all know, put the R in there. OGs. He orchestrated repeated OGs involving the plaintiff, also involving female dancers and minors. So he was participating with a whole group of people. The lawsuit adds that Fat Joe used his status as a hip hop star to compel Dixon and others into degrading X performances, often while Fat Joe watched, recorded, or directed these encounters. The incidents occurred under the conditions that included the presence of a corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and the defendant's management entourage. Yet no intervention occurred. Ooh. He said that the acts were facilitated by and covered up by a broader enterprise and its affiliates. I wonder who the broader enterprise is, child. The complainant continues, the complainant is Dixon, that he did not willingly consent or participate in the acts. Instead, he submitted solely out of fear of immediate retaliation. So he's saying he did not willingly do this. He was always in fear that something would happen to him. And he said that they repeatedly, they being Fat Joe and his crew, his posse, they repeatedly demonstrated retaliation through financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, and actual physical harm. So I'm going to say this right now. If he has this lawyer, he's given them some proof of something, child, because they usually don't take this shit on unless they got, some proof. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't have Fat Joe money. He doesn't have Diddy money. So in order for them to have taken this case, he would have had to have some proof. Allegedly. The suit claims that Fat Joe also issued veiled death threats, witness intimidation through text messages. So the text messages would say things such as, "You love your family, right? You need to fall back in 48 hours. We let you live, right?" Holy crap. Though Fat Joe hobnobbed with some of the biggest names in politics, including Vice President or then Vice President Kamala Harris, there were at least one brush with scandal back in 2010 where he and members of his entourage were detained and questioned after a University of Wisconsin student reported an alleged sexual assault following a performance at the Orpheum Theater. Fat Joe's attorney called the woman a pretender groupie who was attempting a shakedown for the rapper's money. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So that's what they have so far, y'all. That's what they have so far. TA said, "I may have been embarrassed before, but not anymore." Not anymore. Okay. Let me see if y'all got anything else to say, child. This is bad. If it's Joe, he probably gonna bail like he did with Trump. Oh, yes, it's that lawyer. It's that lawyer. Did he bail on Trump? Okay, I didn't know that. So Fat Joe is trying to be like, ooh, listen, everybody should be shaking in their boots. Anybody who's participating in this kind of crazy should be shaking in their damn boots. I wish they would tell on the big person in charge. Who's the big person in charge, Alicia? Baby Oil Diddy and Tyler Perry and now Fat Joe allegations. Greasy Fat Joe, according to Fashawn. Oh, Fashawn did write that. Fat Joe has been Diddy's friend for over 30 years. They say birds of a feather. Well, here's the thing. They say that this type of, this is a lifestyle for, this is what's alleged, because I don't know. I'm not a Hollywood person, but they allege that this is a lifestyle that everybody knows that this is what happens in Hollywood or in the music industry. So it is slowly kind of, breaking down, and we just have to see how it plays out. We have to see how these people, I mean, there's a lot that's done. And you know what else? What you did 20 years ago, 16 years ago, you start getting older, okay? You start getting older and you start looking at things differently. When you're in your 20s, when you're a young person and this shit is happening, you're so afraid of the embarrassment. You might not talk, right? More than likely, you're being browbeaten, you're being shamed. But Joe don't perform anymore. He's not the same Fat Joe that he was back in the day. And now you got this guy trying to figure out, he looking around at his house like, damn, all I got is, I don't have what I should have in life. And before you know it, you start talking. All that shit. Fat Joe someplace just being cool. Like, I got all these relationships and he pretty much keeps himself out there in the public's eye. So he's trying to, let people know he's still got a little bit of power. But y'all remember when Diddy was coming out right before the Cassie stuff and he was saying things like, I'm gonna call myself Brother Love because I'm all about love now. And then he said something like his mind was playing tricks on him and shit. And he was like, I did a lot of bad stuff in my life. This was before Cassie even filed the lawsuit. He was like, I'm just begging for forgiveness. If there's anybody I did wrong, that's the type of stuff you're living in your own hell now because that type of stuff keeps popping up in your mind. What is Captain Crunch going? The baby oil greasing and filming people. I don't know. Cat Williams said that 2025 is going to be the year. 2025, 2026, 2027. We're going to see even more of this. And the first day of summer is Saturday. Okay? We ain't even in the first day of summer yet. Well, they said that the baby oil actually had narcotics in it. So, if you put anything on the skin absorbs it. And apparently what he had on his skin was he would take it in. So they had that many bottles because they said it was very easy to transport on airplanes if they had to do commercial planes. So commercial airlines wouldn't look at it. They would just see it as baby oil. They didn't know that there was actual druid in it. That explains the baby oil. Everybody just thought that he was addicted to baby oil, that he loved baby oil. He was slipping and sliding, but the baby oil had stuff in it. Had that stuff in it, like my grandma would say. But yeah, okay. Jeffrey, Robert, Bill, Harvey, Sean, Tyler, Joe, so and so. Wow. Clive Davis has been accused of such things. That was proven not true about the baby oil. Oh, really? Okay. I have to take your word for it. I heard that it was tested and they said it was true. But I can't watch that stuff every day, get on my nerves. Nasty weasel. Anyway, this is where we are. So just to give y'all a full picture, TA came out back in April, had already came out on his social media, made the claim, said that he liked to diddle daddle with the kiddos, and then Fat Joe actually sued him. Today, TA is suing Fat Joe and basically alleging the same, and then listing everything. Diddy knew his ish was about to come out, so he tried to change his image by changing his name. You know what the crazy thing is, Lucy? And I'll say this because I watch these people do this shit all the time. When you are young and you have a lot of money in your pocket and you got a lot of power, you never think about what life is going to look like for you when you get to your 50s or your 60s. You forget your victims get to their 50s and 60s too. And that's the problem. Not everybody thought about life the way Russell Simmons did. When that shit started rolling, he already had a place to go in Bali, right? There's some people who think, nothing's going to happen to me. Nothing's going to happen to me. But when you start getting older and fatter and uglier and, you're not as popular as you used to. You got these young kids coming through now and your victims are getting older and they're thinking, I could have been this, right? Or all of, for 20 years of my life, I was being abused. And that's the only thing that's recycling in their head. Your day is coming. People never think about what life looks like on the other side of that shit. And that's the problem. There's going to be a day where you're not going to be able to do that anymore. Russell's chilling in another country where they can. Exactly. He researched the extradition laws and he went straight to Bali. Has not been back since. And he loves to get on his platform talking about, I go to New York all the time. No, you don't. We all know you don't. Anytime your kids or any friends come to visit you, you are taking all kinds of family photos. You never come back. He's not been back here since Trump was president the first time. I wonder what Remy Ma is thinking about this. I know that she has her own stuff going on right now, but she was a part of the crew. Yeah, she was a part of Terror Squad. She sure was. She sure was. It's a mess. It's a mess. We shall see. But there's a lot of people that's just sitting around. This is the snowball effect. This is the avalanche effect. This is when people are watching and they're like, oh my God, if this person was brave enough to tell, then I'm going to tell my story too. This is everybody's worst nightmare. This is what, when people are abusers, this is your worst nightmare. But that is it, y'all. That is all. That's the story. That's all I got. When the paperwork come out, I'll be checking it out. 157-page document filed today against Mr. Joseph. I'm sure that Joe is going to say it's in retaliation, but we'll see how detailed it is. We'll see what comes in it. That's it, you guys. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Joe should have been quiet, dipping in folks' business out at Target. He had a Target on his back. It's a shame. But anyway, I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Please and thank you. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. I appreciate every single one of y'all for hanging out with me, including my moderators. And I'll check you on the next one. Bye-bye.